Arati Ujvala Govardhana Padapite Bhuvana Mangala
Govardhana Padapite Bhuvana Mangala
Shiva Bhakti Pracharite Tamasamana
Shuddha Bhakti Pracharite Tamasamana Akalanka Indujina Dayalalita
Ulasita Vishvavasila Vipremadana
Ulasita Vishvavasila Vipremadana
Anandena Chiya Gaye Tava Guna Gana
Anandena Chiya Gaye Tava Guna Gana
Osapilaya Srama Bahu Jagata Manjare
Sapila Shrama Bahu Jagata Manjare
Mahamsa Dhammayana Sikshara Prachare
Paramahamsa Dhammayana Sikshara Prachare
Chintya Veda Jani Tumi Adhikari
Chintya Veda Gyana Tumi Adhikari
O Sakala Samsaya Chipasu Siddhantari
Sakala Samsaya Shritva Susiddhantari
Tumara Mahima Gani Guru Samtare
Tomara Mahima Gaye Golokha Mandale
Yashidha Parikare Tava Vilasare
Nitya Shridha Parikare Tava Nilastale
Apatita Pavana Tumi Dvayara Samira
Adita Bhavana Tumi Doyara Samira
Sarvakare Sunitana Satya Sambira
Oi Vaishnava Thakura Doyara Sagara Edase Koruna Kori
Oi Vaishnava Thakura Doyara Sagara Edase
Oi Vaishnava Thakura Doyara Sagara Edase Koruna Kori
Oi Vaishnava Thakura Doyara Sagara Edase
Diya Padachaya Shodhaya Amare Tomara Charana Dhori
Diya Parajaya Sudayama Amaracharana
Choya Begadomi Choya Dosha Shodhi Choya Gunadeho Dashe
Jaya Vedadome Jaya Dosashoy Jaya Gunare
Choya Satsanga Deho He Amare Vasechi Sangera Ashe
Jaya Satsangare Hoye Amare Vaseshi Sangera
Ekaki Amara Nahi Paya Bolo Hari Nama Sankirtane
Ekaki Amara Nahi Paye Bolo Harinama Sankirtane
Oh, Ekaki Amara Nahi Paya Bolo Hari Nama Sankirtane
Ekaki Amara Nahi Paye Bolo Harinama Sankirtane
Tumi Kripa Kari Shadha Bindu Diya Deo Krishna Namadhane
Tumi Kripa Kari
Krishna se tomara Krishna dite paro Tomaro shakati ache
Oh Krishna se tomara Krishna dite para tomara shakati
Amita Kangala Krishna Krishna Bali Dhaitava Pache Pache
Ayamita Kangala Krishna Krishna Bali Raita Bhakti
Dhaitava Nitai Pada Kamala Koti Chantra Sushitala
Hechaya Avatara Sara Gauraya Avatara
Avatara Sara Gauraya Avatara
Avatara Sara
Avatara Sara Gauraya Avatara Welcome. Is this your first time visiting here? Second time. Okay. What's your name?
My name's John.
John. Okay, I'm Vishaka.
Nice to meet you.
Nitai. And Mayeshwari.
Nice to meet you. Maybe page 174.
74.
174.
Oh, 174.
I think so. I'm not sure.
Which song was that?
Amara Jivana.
Maybe, maybe not.
Ah, okay, no problem.
Yeah, I think for the Saturday program, it's nice if we choose songs
Something
that are a bit more.
happier.
Yeah.
What's
Then you're the budget of the day, Mana.
Yeah.
I'm not good at
What
this.
song-
Or
what-
Kobe Hobe Bolo, or
What
is that
page
okay?
is-
Kobe Hobe Bolo,
Okay.
or the one after Kobe Hobe Bolo.
Emana Dormati is also nice.
I don't know how to sing it properly. I mean, I sing it in a way.
What about one of the Shikshashtakam songs? You ever sing those?
200, page 200 maybe.
Yeah.
Pita Baranakali,
Can you
Pavanagora.
sing that? Okay, page 200.
200. Are you singing?
Yeah.
Oh.
Sorry, we start from here, this part here, from the lower part. Pita Baranakali Pavanagora.
Gita Vadana Kali Bhavana
Gaya Yachana Bhava Vibhora. Chitta Darpana Parimarjanakari. Krishna Kirtana Jaya Chitta Vihari. Hera Bhava Tava Nirvana Vritti. Krishna Kirtana Jaya Klesha Nivritti. Shri Akunda Vidhu Vyotsna Prakasha.
Gauranga, whose complexion is golden and who is the deliverer of the fallen souls of Kali Yuga, sings as follows, overwhelmed with spiritual ecstasy.
Hare Krishna.
All glories to the chanting of the holy name of Krishna. It thoroughly, is it correct, thoroughly?
Thoroughly, yeah.
Cleanses the mirror of the heart and is the delight of the soul.
All glories to the chanting of the holy name, Krishna. It extinguishes the forest fire of material existence and removes all material tribulations.
All glories to the chanting of the holy name of Krishna. It appears like a moon in the heart
201.
and distributes its cooling moonlight, making the white lotus of the soul's good fortune blossom and bloom. Krishna Kirtan is the Bhakti Vilas, the beautiful pastime of devotion.
All glories to the chanting of the holy name of Krishna. It reveals one's pure identity in relationship with the Lord, even up to divine consorthood. This chanting is the real perfection of life.
All glories to the chanting of the holy name of Krishna. Krishna Kirtan causes the ocean of ecstatic joy to overflow. It is an inundation of divine love.
All glory to the chanting of the holy name of Krishna. Krishna Kirtan gives one a taste of fully satisfying nectar at every step. Ultimately, it bestows ecstatic love of Godhead.
All glories to the chanting of the holy name of Krishna. It bathes the soul of Bhakti Yoga. This chanting is a storehouse of love of Godhead.
Jai.
Joy.
Sita Peru.
Dhanavad Vishaka, how are you? Did you get some rest?
Kind of. I fell asleep around 4 a.m.
You
Oh
were-
no!
God.
Wow.
Just because it was a crazy journey and then my nervous system was quiet.
4 a.m.
Still in a state of motion.
Yeah,
Trying
yeah.
to sit down,
Yeah.
lie down. Yeah. I understand it. We'll go away soon.
Yeah. Will you sing something for Boo?
Yes, I will, certainly, yeah. Anything particular?
Whatever you're happy to
Yeah,
sing.
I just got my glasses actually. I need to get my. I'm just here. I've got my glasses.
Sure.
Okay, maybe I'll sing 204. Shri Krishna Ketana Jadi Manasatohana
Krishna Kirtana Jadi Manasadohara.
Padamaja Tanetahi Lobo Adhikara Hinadika Hinadina Kenchana Chana Apane Mano Bisada Chani Ahankara Chitta Samakoma Guna Kara Bisadana Ati Himsa Jajiyane Karo Vipalana Jivana Deva He Ane Udvegana Dive Sada Upakare Nija Sukha Basarive Oileo Sarva Guna Guni Mahaso Sati Sata Chari Koro Amani Hidhoe Krishna Dishan Sarva Jiva Jani Sada carefully absorbed in the chanting of the holy name, then you will become qualified for chanting the holy name of Krishna.
Humbler than a blade of grass, considering yourself low, poor, and mean, give up your false ego.
Tolerant as a tree, you should forgive and forbear giving up violence. Practice nurturing and protecting others.
Live without causing anxiety to others. Do good unto others without considering your own happiness.
The great soul who has all these qualities should not become proud of his saintly qualities, but giving up position and prestige, he should always remain prideless within his heart.
Always knowing that Krishna dwells within the hearts of all living beings, you should always properly respect and honor others.
Humility, mercy, consideration of others, and giving up position are the four qualities needed to perform kirtan.
Bhaktivinoda, crying at the Lord's holy feet, says, "O my Lord, when will you bestow upon me the qualifications for Krishna Kirtan?"
Oh, beautiful.
So yeah, would you like me to sing something particular?
Oh, what are you comfortable singing? We didn't sing Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu.
Yeah, I can sing that. Do we know what pages?
76.
Oh, well, 76, yeah.
Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Daya Kara More.
Sri Krishna Chaitanya
Prabhu Daya Kara More. Tomi Bina Ke Dayalu Jagata Machare. Patita Pavana Hetu Tavavatara. Patita Pavana Hetu Tavavatara. Mosamo Patita Prabhu Nepe Bear. Mosamo Patita Prabhu. Prabhu Nityananda, Premananda Sukhi. Prabhu Nityananda, Premananda Sukhi. Kripa Boro Kana Koro, Amai Boro Dukhi. Kripa Boro Kana Pati Advaita Gosai. Joya Koro Sita Pati Advaita Gosai. Dava Kripa Bole Thai Chaitanya Nittai. Dava Kripa Bole Thai Chaitanya Nittai. Ora Prema Maya Tanu Pandit Gadadhara. Ora Prema Maya Tanu Pandit Gadadhara. Srinivasa Haridasa Doyoro Sagara. Srinivasa Haridasa Sanatana Rupa Gurudeva Haribo, 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 Nitai Gora Haribo, 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 Nitai Gora Haribo.
Meantime, what about a few minutes of Mahamantra Kirtan?
Sure, yeah.
You usually start you end the kirtan around 12:30.
Yeah,
Okay.
sure.
Okay, well maybe you want to sing another song.
I know this is kind of like a morning song, if you don't mind. I wanted to sing Viva Shesha.
Yeah, what about Viva
Because
Visheshan and close with some Mahamantra?
Yeah.
Welcome.
It's 56, I believe. 56? Page 56. Vibhare Shisho Aloka Pavisho Nidra Chadhiyota Jiva
Vivahari Shashaloka Pravisha Nidra Chadhiyota Jiva
Bolo Hari Hari Mukunda Mudari
Bolo Hari Hari Mukunda Murari
Rama Krishna Hari
Rama Krishna Hari Shiva
Nishingava Mana Sri Madhu Bhujana Rajendra Nandana Syama
Nishimavamana Sri Madhusurana Rajendra Nandana Shyama Uttana Gadana Kaitava Shakana Jaya Sarati Govinda Gopala Vindhavana Purandhara Yashoda Tulala Govinda Gopala Vrindavana Purandhara Gopi Priyadana Radhika Rama Gopi Priyadana Radhika Rama Suvana Sundara Bhuvana Sundara Ravana Shastara Makona Gopi Janavatari Ravana Shastara Makona Shastara Gopi Janavatari Kamsani Sodhana Nikunjara Savela Se Yashodanandana Kamsani Sodhana Nikunjara Savela Se Rasa Prayasana Karamba Karana Rasa Prayasana Vrindavi Pinani Vrindavi Pinani
What is your name again? Nina. Okay. Nice to see you again.
She comes every Saturday.
Oh, really?
I try to. Yeah, most Saturdays.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very nice. You live nearby?
Yeah, it goes.
Okay, cool. And this is John's second visit.
Yes, he came all the way from Cambridge, a 3-hour drive.
Oh, really? Wow. And how did you first discover this place?
Well, I was a teenager many years ago.
Okay, we're in for a story. Great.
I ended up at the temple in Blackheath, or Greenwich, somewhere over there.
Wow.
And I met one of the sannyasis there.
Mm-hmm. Oh, this was one of our vlogs.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Oh, this is going back like early 90s.
Before Gladding Road.
Before
Do you remember
Gladding
Road.
Oh.
This was...
Wow.
I can't remember where it was.
Might be in the mid-80s.
Yeah, it was the mid-80s.
The mid-80s. Before Gladding Road.
Yeah.
Okay.
I remember Gladding Road, yeah.
Yeah.
I found it on the map, I can't remember where it is, because you come off at Maze Hill Station and then you walk for 10 minutes. But I was interested in ISKCON before then. And I was a little bit disappointed with some of their leaders. And I found some of Sridhar Maharaj's books in a London bookshop. And it had the
Wow,
address of the
really?
temple in Blackheath.
Wow.
So I thought I'd find my way over there, young 15-year-old probably.
You were 15.
Yeah. And I've been interested on and off since. I've had other interests as well in other religious traditions, but I keep coming back to this one.
Okay.
So,
Wait, so you didn't get to meet our guru, Srila Govinda Maharaj?
No.
Sounds like, okay. So you visited the temple then, you kind of like kept that in your heart. And
Yeah.
then recently you got interested again to explore again.
Yeah.
Wow.
I think because there's so much more on the internet now.
Mm-hmm.
When I was 15, there was no
Right,
internet.
right. It's the
And
age
it was
of
just buying
communication.
books and, but now you can find out a lot more. And
Yes.
I thought I'd be brave and try and drive, but I can't say I'll be able to just drive over here regularly. It's just
No, that's a lot, yeah.
But I'll try there's one in East London as well.
Yes, yes. And they have a regular Sunday program there.
So maybe I'll try that one, do it on a different.
Yes, yes. Okay, okay. So everyone here is already. You're not like totally green, you know. You understand something of the philosophy. Okay, cool. Well, well, I'm Vishaka. Nice to meet you. Be here with all of you. I just came from Hungary, and yesterday I got to participate in the worldwide Microsoft IT outage. Jai Vishaka Didi ki jai. I was thinking, actually it's so nice when we can just like feeling like we're a part of something, even if it's not very comfortable, like I get to be a part of the collective experience. Like when COVID happened, a lot of people were suffering, and like domestically, like tiny apartments, and I had it pretty easy. Like I was here a while, and it's a nice big space, and I was in Italy, our ashram there, big space, but I heard about like some of these people really suffering, and tiny little apartments, can't go out, and then it was after COVID I had an experience. Where we were moving in Hungary from one place to another. We had this interim period where we sold the first place and we didn't get the second place, and so we rented this tiny apartment in Budapest for a few months, and I got to be a part of a whole domestic experience, let's say, without going into details. But yeah. But I actually felt happy. I was like, wow, I get to be a part of this collective experience, right? I get to feel what other people have gone through. Yeah. And it's a part of developing empathy and compassion. And we were just singing this beautiful song, the third verse of the Shikshashtakam. I don't know if everyone's familiar with the Shikshashtakam. Shikshashtakam literally means 8 instructions, and they're instructions that were given personally by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and they're all the verses are centering around the chanting of the holy name. Are you familiar with the Shikshashtakam at all? Okay, he's in it.
I read it.
Okay. Did you read The Golden Volcano of Divine Love?
I think I did it many years ago.
Okay, wow.
I've moved
Amazing.
around and books have gone missing. And, I'm starting to. Last time I came here, I bought a copy of The Search for Sri Krishna,
Okay.
which was the first book by Sri Sridhar Maharaj that I bought when I was 15. So I reread that. So I'll be rereading all of the Mark's books.
It's so inspiring to hear your story, because sometimes we can, we connect with someone, we share, we give them a book, and then we might feel a little discouraged, like, oh, nothing happened. But it's like, look at you, this is like 30 years later or something, right? And 40 years later. Amazing. And I've heard lots of stories like that, like people digging through their attic and they find a book that they left there so many years before.
And then suddenly, oh yeah. And so Srila Swami Maharaj, Prabhupada, he would refer to books as time bombs. Right? Like you give someone a book and it just sits on their shelf for years, right, collecting dust. But at any moment, someone can come along and discover it, and that's it, right? Like their life transforms forever. So it's very encouraging to hear stories like yourself. But going back to this Shikshashtakam, right? 8 instructions. They're all centering around the chanting of the holy name, and so Bhakti Vinod Thakur, our guru, he wrote these songs elaborating upon these verses, right? And so we just sang the third one, and the third verse has been especially emphasized for us because it's describing the qualities which are required in order to actually be able to chant, And this is one reason we can say why we so much need association, right? Like our friend John here, he's reading the books, but he also wants to come and meet some of the people, right? There's a difference, right? And I was reflecting on this last week. No, it was on Wednesday in one of our Zoom meetings. It was very interesting because we were going through Sharanagati. Sharanagati is a songbook of Bhakti Vinod Thakur, right? And there's one series of songs which are going through these verses by Rupa Goswami, Upadeshamrita, right? So he's in his songs, similar to this, right? Let's make it a little interactive. So if you go to page 200, boys and girls. So you'll see so this here at the top, this is a Sanskrit verse, is Cheto Darpanam Arjanam Bhavamaha Devagni Nirvapanam. This is the first of these 8 verses of Mahaprabhu. It's a Sanskrit verse. And then Bhakti Vinod Thakur he's written this Bengali song kind of going into this verse, right? And so similarly, we are going through this other song of Bhakti Vinod where he's going through another Sanskrit verse by Rupa Goswami, another great saint and guru in our line. But what was very interesting is that, like, okay, you have the original verse, and that's telling you something. But then Bhakti Vinod Thakur, he's showing you like the mood and the spirit with which this will be received, right? There's a difference between just like knowing the philosophy, knowing the practice, and then knowing how to actually apply that, right? And knowing with what mood and what spirit one will be able to practice that, right? And so, for example, in that song you were going through the other day, he was talking about this verse of Rupa Goswami, which is talking about the 6 favorable qualities for devotion. So utsahan, nishchaya, dharya, tat karma, pravartana, sango jagat, satoverte, sadbir bhaktir, prasidyati. And so it's listing these qualities of enthusiasm, conviction, of faith, confidence, perseverance or determination, giving up bad association, following good association, and following all the practices that are recommended, right? So this is the original verse by Rupa Goswami. And then you look at the song of Bhakti Vinod Thakur, and he starts out by listing all these qualities. And then he says, I have never had any of these qualities, oh my Lord. So you're seeing like what's the mood? Humility. Right? Because it would be so easy just to read that verse. Oh yeah, tick, tick, tick. Yeah, I got enthusiasm. Yeah, I'm determined. Yeah, I'm doing all the things I'm supposed to do. Right? Yeah, I'm good. Right? But then you split, and then we also saying here, this, if we're looking at this song, this is not this one. No, sorry. Page 205. This is the third song. So if you look at verse number 5, Hoi leo sarva gune guni mahashoy pratishtasa chari kodo amani hirdoy. A great soul who has all these qualities should not become proud of their saintly qualities. But giving up position and prestige, he should always remain prideless within his heart. So this is the thing, right? You can have all these qualities, but then if you're arrogant about it, it's all spoiled, right? It's all spoiled. And so in his song, Bhakti Yoga Thakur, he's listing all these things and saying, I'm aspiring to have them, right? I'm praying to have those qualities, right? I'm not thinking that I have them now, but I'm humbly aspiring. I don't have them, right? So this is why it's so important. Like we're following the practice, we're following the teachings, we're hearing the scriptures, we're visiting the holy places, right? Pilgrimage. We're following all of these practices of devotion. However, we're doing it through the lens of the heart and the vision of the saints, right? So it's like our Gurudev, like what was there? How are they seeing this? Like it's always a few times removed. Like we also have this expression, right? Das anu das, right? Servant of the servant. So there's always, and then what does that mean actually? Like Gurudev also would say, telescopic system, right? Like when you're looking at something far away, you use a telescope. And what is that telescope? It's composed of all these lenses, right? But the lenses are not taking you further away. They're not creating distance. They're actually creating proximity. They're reducing the distance. So in the same way, Gurudev, he compared our line of gurus, our Guru Parampara, to this telescope, right? That they're like Radha, Krishna, Mahaprabhu, they are far away from us, right? But through the lens of the vision of the heart of our gurus, they're coming closer, right? Through the lens of that service connection, right? And so it is, and then we can say also this is quite, we could say this is particularly emphasized in the lineage that we are following, Rupa Goswami's line, right? Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati. This emphasis on like not just directly approaching Krishna and the Absolute, but approaching in this more careful and considered way, right? Okay, there's Krishna, but who's surrounding Krishna, right? And appreciating nuance. That's also one way I like to think of like what it means to be a part of like the group of Srila, this mission, Sri Chaitanya Saraswati Math, right, established by Srila Sridhar, Srila Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar Dev Goswami Maharaj, such a great saint, great philosopher. Like one way I like to think of it as it's a place for nuance, people who can appreciate nuance, right? People who can appreciate nuance and subtleties and these fine points, right? These fine points, and so many things, you know. And another interesting point comes to mind in this same vein. Let's go to another example. Let me see. So if you go to 128, this is a beautiful song about Mahaprabhu. And and so if you look, so you'll see often at the end of songs, the author is signing their name, or the following song as well. This whole Narottam is one of the main composers of the Vaishnava songs that we sing. So you'll see often at the end of the songs that the author of the song is signing their name, and they're concluding with this personal feeling. And that's another thing I like very much that you see in the writings of our gurus, that they're presenting the teachings, they're presenting the Siddhanta, but they're also including their own personal story, right? There's that personal element there. And even in, for example, Chaitanya Charitamrita, which is such a high theological scripture, and some of the chapters, they're like difficult to read because they're so philosophical, they're so technical. It can be like heavy going to get through them, right? So it's like on this really high level. But then sometimes the author, Krishnadas Kaviraj, he's telling his own story in this very sweet way, heart-touching way. And sometimes he's sharing his struggle too. Like he's like writing at like 80-something years old, and he's losing his eyesight, and he's got arthritis in his hands, and he's sometimes expressing this anxiety, like, I don't even know if I'm going to live to finish this work. So then he's telling his own story, how he comes to the shelter of Lord Chaitanya, Lord Nityananda, right? So there's always that personal element there, which is very beautiful. But anyhow, you see at the end of these songs, right, often, or usually even, the author is signing their names. And our Gurudev, he made this really nice point, which I appreciated so much, that he said that sometimes what you see, because this is Bengali, right? So when Bengali persons are singing this, it's their own language, right? And so sometimes what you hear is at the end, they'll switch out the last line. So it says Narottam is the author, and they'll change it to like referring to themselves, right? So Eya Dhamma, this person, like this lowly person. And our Gurudev, he said, actually it is not so appropriate to do that. Because when we're singing this song, we don't want to have the audacity to think that we have such a high level of devotion, right? But we will honor, this is the sentiment of Narottam, right? Or like some of them are really extreme, like, I'm going to die if I don't get your shelter. Like, do we actually feel like that? Like, do we actually feel like that? Like, I won't be able to live. I won't be able to eat anything. I can't sleep if I don't receive your mercy. Like, do we really have such a high feeling in our heart? Right? So it's we have to be careful. This feeling of imitationism, it can sneak up on you very easily, right? Very easily it can come. And again, this is going back to what we were saying about that prayer of Bhakti Vinod, like he's saying, I don't have these qualities, right? Because it's so easy to just take things at face value and imitate them, and without actually going into the mood that will be up behind someone who's actually, following them, right? Not just going through the motions, right? So this is why we are, we're so blessed to be able to hear the mood, the insight, the angle of vision, right, of our gurus. And we are, we're being informed about the most authentic and most deep way, right, by which we can approach this. One who's actually connecting with this thing, how do they approach it, right? What's their manner of practice and speaking and so on, right? And Mahaprabhu himself, right, he's saying, Na prema gandosti drapi meharo kandami saubhagya brahm prakashitam, right? He's saying, I don't even have the fragrance of divine love, right? I don't even have a scent. I don't have a touch of divine love, right? There's always this someone who's really approaching it, there's always this feeling of aspiration, right? And it is natural. Right? Like Srila Sridhar Maharaj, he liked to quote Isaac Newton, right? Who's celebrated as like the greatest man of his time, so brilliant. But he said, I feel myself that I'm just walking on the shore of the ocean of knowledge, and I'm collecting some pebbles. I'm collecting some small stones. So it is natural as someone who's actually approaching something, they have some sense of how great it actually is, right? So if you're approaching the infinite, then it's like that horizon that's always extending, right? You see how vast it is, and so you will naturally feel your humility, right? You will happily feel your insignificance, right? That's another point. That's something that can trip people up. I don't want to be insignificant. I want to be a nobody. But there's actually a beauty and a joy and a wonder in that, right? there's one really nice quote of our Gurudev, Srila Govinda Maharaj, where he says the soul, the jiva souls, the finite souls, he says, of this world, they're very fortunate because they can swim in the ocean of Krishna's qualities. He said, because they're very small. He said it like that. I think it's in Revealed Truth, it's published. He says that they're fortunate because they're very small and they can swim in the ocean of Krishna's qualities. And what beautiful and sweet vision. Right? We can experience being overwhelmed, by beauty. That's so much more vast than ourselves, right? We can drown. We can experience drowning in beauty and love and charm because we're so small. So that is our wealth, right? To be able to come in contact with the heart of the Vaishnavas and the saints, and that was our good fortune in meeting Srila Govinda Maharaj, right? To actually see, like in real life, what is the movement of such a great soul and how they're following and responding to so many points, right? Of the teachings, of the practice. Well, I don't know if anyone has any topic, question, or comment, or anything.
No, it's not so much a question. It's just more of like a reminder that we're doing now is like that kind of time, the Jagannath festival. Like what's the proper mood for us to, appreciate this festive time where the chariot pulling and what's the significance behind that and what's it all about really? Because otherwise it just, someone would just be like, why are you guys struggling so much to pull something that weighs a lot of tons?
And people die every year in that crowd.
People got crushed, didn't they, a little while ago?
Yeah, it happens every year.
Going back to God, I think we call it. Yeah. The whole thing.
Well, does everyone know about the Rath Yatra festival? It's
tomorrow. Yeah.
Tomorrow?
Tomorrow in London.
I was wondering, because the actual Rath Yatra was about 2 weeks ago, I think.
Yeah,
okay, so they're doing it in London tomorrow.
Yeah, I think they do it like that because they don't want to, cross it, like, disrespect or something. I don't know. I'm just guessing.
I think it depends on when they can get permission as well, like from because they have to close some roads and stuff, right? Okay, so it's happening in London tomorrow.
Yeah,
wow.
That's why I brought it up.
I see.
It kind of just happened.
Right.
And I've not heard anyone kind of speak about that.
Okay. Yeah.
Very high matter, really.
Mm-hmm. So Rath Yatra means something like festival of chariots. And in India, it's a major event. There's one small city called Jagannath Puri. Jagannath is actually a form of Krishna. Very special form. He has a very unusual appearance with these like giant eyes and contracted limbs, and he's a very popular deity. And there's this one city, the whole city revolves around him, and his deity is there, Jagannath, and also his brother Baladev and sister Subhadra, and they're very big deities. And normally they don't allow anyone to go into the temple. So like foreigners or so-called lower class people, they don't allow into the temple, which is unfortunate. But on this one day of the year, they all come out. These big, big deities. We'll have to show Nina some pictures later. So they come out, and it's about 1 million people or more who come from all over India and around the world, and everyone has the opportunity to help pull, because each of these deities has their own chariot, and then they're pulled from one temple down the road. It's like 3 kilometers or something, to another temple, and so it's this huge event, and it actually. We hear people get crushed and some people die sometimes because it's such a huge crowd. And now they're actually doing that event on not such a big scale, but in different cities around the world it takes place too. So in London we hear it's happening tomorrow. And it's very beautiful actually how the local government supports it. They literally shut down some streets and then they conclude as Hyde Park that they conclude. Trafalgar Square. Okay. Cool. How many people attend the one in London? Do you know? Estimate or guesstimate?
Could be 1,000.
Few thousand, maybe.
Yeah, a few more. It's actually all run within this one now by Hindus, by and large, and they organise the whole thing. Part of their survival of the manor was based on the contribution of Hindu wealth into the system.
Right.
So the GBC or whatever it may be, they allow for the Hindus to have a good running of the thing.
Right.
But it's still the many Western devotees, and devotees from all over the world, of course.
Right.
And they do beautiful big prasadam, but there's plays and arts and drama and book distribution and everything.
Right.
So it's a big event.
Yeah, I used to go when I was a child, actually, the London Rath Yatra. Wow, that's beautiful. I didn't know it was happening tomorrow. So what is the significance? Yeah. I mean, I don't know what other ideas people have, but we have one particular very fine understanding of the significance of this festival. And first of all, the first question is, why does Krishna have this funny appearance? Srila Sridhar Maharaj himself describes him as having an awkward appearance, right? He's very big with his eyes take up most of his body, right? But it's funny how people are very attracted, actually. There's a bit of a Jagannath cult. Like I often see like Jagannath stickers people put all in their cars and all over the place. It's interesting. He's known as being extremely merciful. And I think people feel that, actually. So what is the actual significance of this unusual appearance of Krishna? Srila Sridhar Maharaj explains that this is actually Krishna in a mood of separation, right? Because we hear that in Krishna's Leela, in his divine play, his pastimes, he ostensibly leaves Vrindavan, right, as a young man, and he apparently rejoins his royal family, right, and he's abandoned his poor, simple villager friends in the forests, the village of Vrindavan, right. And so in his later life, he's living this royal life, and lives in a palace, has many queens, but his heart is always thinking of Vrindavan, his beautiful, simple life with his friends, loving friends in Vrindavan, and Krishna's friends and his queens, they can feel this, right? They feel sometimes Krishna's with us, but he's not with us at the same time. And so they feel a little sadness and also some curiosity. And so we hear, what was that life like? And so we hear on one occasion, he was resting, and he and his brother were resting after lunch in the afternoon, and then someone was visiting, or no, who was it? I think maybe it was Rohini, right? There was someone present who had lived in Vrindavan previously, and so they knew about Krishna's previous life. I think it might have been Rohini. And so some of the queens, they gathered around and they said, "Oh, can you tell us? We want to we want to hear about Krishna's previous life in Vrindavan. You know, what was so special about Vrindavan, and so they all gathered around to hear, and they had someone stand guard because they didn't want. They knew if Krishna heard, then he'd just be devastated. You know, it would be a little painful for him to hear all those memories and then feel separation and start, feeling so much, love for his previous companions, and so they had someone stand guard, like let us know if Krishna wakes up, like we don't want him to hear this, and plus he might leave us, right? If he feels too much attachment from Vrindavan, he might leave us. They're always having that fear too, right? And so then they start hearing about Vrindavan, but then we hear Krishna did wake up, hearing these descriptions, and he came to the door and he heard that, and what happened was it was kind of like a shock to his system. Srila Sridhar Maharaj, he gave one analogy of like a train. If a train is moving very quickly in one direction and then it suddenly has to stop, then there will be some physical transformation, right? And so Krishna, he's absorbed in this mood of royal prince in a palace, and he has these particular associates around him, and suddenly he's hearing, very unexpectedly out of the blue, he's hearing about his beloved companions in Vrindavan, the simple forest life, right? The river Jamuna, the Vrindavan forest, and all of his beloved friends, girlfriends, companions, taking, he would take care of the cows, like completely different atmosphere. Mm-hmm. And so he heard that all of a sudden, and it was like a shock to his system. And he also was feeling this intense separation because he has so much love for that life in Vrindavan. And so it created this transformation in his body. His eyes becoming very big and his limbs contracted, and it's like an expression of a particular type of ecstasy, you could say. Wow! Oh, so good to see you, Prabhu. Dhanavad. And then by like some type of sympathetic extension, then his brother and his sister, they also, that same feeling was extended to them, right? And so they all took on this like peculiar type of appearance. And so this is the reason that's given for this unusual appearance. And then what is the significance of the Rath Yatra? Then according to our gurus, the vision is that Krishna is being carried back to Vrindavan. So his permanent residence, the main temple, Jagannath temple, is representative of Dwarka, right? Where Krishna lived, the city where Krishna lived his royal life, right? And then the temple that they bring him to, called Gundicha, that is representative of Vrindavan. And so it's a very, very joyful event for the devotees of Krishna, because it's the idea of, we're bringing Krishna back. Because ostensibly, he doesn't go back, right? Actually, Krishna never leaves Vrindavan, right? And we hear that he's there in an unmanifest form. But apparently, he's left. And apparently, he never comes back. And so there's like this very special joy and special symbolism in this event. We're bringing Krishna back to Vrindavan, taking him away from the opulence of Dwarka, bringing him back to the sweet simplicity and natural love of Vrindavan, right? And for us also, when we think of Rath Yatra, the first thing we think of is actually Mahaprabhu, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, because it was a festival he had so much joy, to participate in. And in Chaitanya, in our scripture, Chaitanya Charitamrita, there are so many beautiful descriptions, right, of how he would dance in front of that Rathi, in front of the carts, and chanting so many verses from the scriptures and showing so many symptoms of ecstasy and so many transformations in his body and tears of divine love and then there's also this whole other layer going on too, where, because who is Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu ultimately? Krishna in the mood of Radha, right? Krishna in the mood of his beloved. Krishna wants to explore what is the heart of my beloved Radha, Shrimati Radharani. And so there's also this other layer going on too, where like Jagannath is Krishna, Mahaprabhu in the mood of Radharani, they're having this kind of play between them as well. So that's also going on. And you hear some descriptions where it's like Mahaprabhu's facing Jagannath and dancing, and then sometimes Mahaprabhu stops, and then Jagannath also stops, right? Because that's another mystical thing that you can say, oh, Jagannath is being carried by so many people, but actually he has his own will. He's not just an immobile statue, but he has his own will. And you see every year it's different, right? That how far they can pull him. Sometimes they'll do it in one day, sometimes it'll take 3 days.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. I think this year it took 2 days. Oh, here's your Chandra Prabhu. Wow. Jai. Hari Bol. So actually he has his own will, right? And we also hear about that occasion. This would have been, I don't know, like early 1900s, I don't know. It was the year Saraswati Thakur was born, right? Whichever year, I should know that. But we hear that because Saraswati Thakur, he's one of our gurus, modern gurus. He was born, his family house is on that road where this chariot festival takes place. And we hear when he was 6 months old, this festival took place. And the chariot, they're pulling the chariot and it suddenly stopped right in front of his house and wouldn't move. And was there for, I don't know if it was like a whole day or something like that. And they're trying to pull the chariot and they couldn't pull it. And then finally what happened is Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati's mother, she's carrying him out as like a 6-month-old baby, and she presents him to the deity, and suddenly his garland falls down, right? And it happened in such a way that everyone present could see there was some type of mystical exchange that took place, right? And so they brought that garland to the baby, and then after that, then they could pull the chariot again. So there are always these like interesting occurrences, and you see that Jagannath has his own will, right? And so similarly, when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is dancing in front of Jagannath, they have this very sweet play going on, and sometimes Mahaprabhu will stop, and then the chariot will also stop, and it mentions also there's this kind of like testing going on, like they're testing each other, and then Mahaprabhu will continue, and then Jagannath will also continue, and like that, So there's these different layers, right, to our appreciation for this festival.
Didn't he put his head on the Ratha Yatra to move it or something?
That sounds familiar. Yeah, that sounds familiar.
When he was bigger, of course.
Mm-hmm. Oh, you're talking about Srila Saraswati Thakur.
Mahaprabhu.
When he was bigger, when who was bigger?
Mahaprabhu was, when he was sannyas, I think he put his head on the cart and he moved it or something like that.
Okay, yeah, that sounds familiar. No, because you said bigger, then I thought you were implying when he was younger he was also there. Actually, he could well have been. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I didn't think about that. Maybe he was there.
Yeah, he held the cart up with his head and the cart
Okay.
moved,
Okay. Okay. Yeah, there are a few chapters in Chaitanya Charitamrita covering that festival, and there's a lot of detail, actually. Yeah, a lot of detail. Yeah, I mean, there's so much more to say, but maybe some things we shouldn't say. and there's also these very elaborate descriptions of I think it was like there's 7 groups, right? Actually, yeah, you remember very well, huh?
Raghurananda and Mahaprabhu was very attracted by certain dances,
Mm-hmm.
and so he put them in charge of the group.
Yes.
And it all like swirl and congregate
Yes.
around Lord Jagannath or in front of
Yeah.
Lord Jagannath, you know.
Yeah.
If someone was a particularly good singer, someone was a very good dancer, and they're saying Mahaprabhu was even attracted by the dancing,
Right.
you know, so they'd all swirl and dance
Right.
in a very beautiful transcendental kaleidoscope, I
Right.
suppose, you know, around the front of the car, you know, for Lord Jagannath's pleasure.
Yeah, I remember when I first read that, I was actually really surprised at like how organized it was. Because normally when you think of a kirtan, oh, let's just get together and do kirtan. But it was like there was a precise number of singers in each group, there were a precise number of dancers and a precise number of mridanga players. It's like, yeah, Nitai and Veera, they'll appreciate this.
Like an army.
Yeah, like very, very organized, you know.
Yeah, it's all in the Chaitanya Bhagavat. Yeah.
Sometimes there was 16 leaders of the kirtan.
You remember too some details. 16.
4 kartals per mridanga.
Oh, really? 4 cartels per each mridanga.
Yeah.
Oh.
Look at that.
Yeah, it's true, specified.
Yeah.
It's a science.
Wow.
Yeah, it's pretty cool, isn't
We
it?
have like a certain amount of singers singing at the same time because it didn't have PA systems. And then, you have to really get it out there.
Did that with Galikadambana the other day.
What did you say?
We actually did that on the Harinam with Galikadambana. Do you remember, like, because we didn't have, neither one of us can actually sing very loudly, so we just combined forces.
You didn't have you didn't have Jagadananda Prabhu.
No.
Okay, yeah, interesting, isn't it? And you also hear these beautiful descriptions of Mahaprabhu dancing, and like, there's one of describing him like swirling around like a firebrand and spinning around in the air, and so very, very beautiful descriptions. And then another very sweet aspect of this whole festival, and they continue with the tradition today, is that the king of this city, Prataparudra, he personally comes and he sweeps the ground.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and they continue with that today. I watched the live stream of it when it was, and I saw they still do it, and wearing like some simple clothing, you know, and very humbly. I think maybe golden handle on the broom. At least in Chaitanya Charitamrita. I don't know if he did it now. I think it mentions, right, that he has a golden handle on his broom, and that's another very sweet element actually of the whole pastime, because he has this whole exchange going. It's kind of like a play, really. Mahaprabhu is playing with him. Because traditionally, the monks, the sannyasis, they shouldn't have close relationships with, you know, celebrities and royalty, you know, because it's a different world, right? And it can be very distracting. And nowadays, it's not really followed so much. And I was following some of the news on this big wedding they just had in India. And they had quite a few like big gurus there actually, like in their sannyas cloth. And I was thinking, oh, that wouldn't have gone on in Mahaprabhu's time. That wouldn't have been accepted. So the king, he's actually a great devotee. He's a saintly king, and he has this earnest desire to meet with Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. But Mahaprabhu's following the protocol, he's following the etiquette of the time and saying, well, it's not appropriate for me to meet with him. And that's also kind of an excuse, because it's also like it allows for this play, or he's like kind of teasing him, actually. he's making his desire stronger. He's like pushing him back, and then the king is becoming more eager, more desperate. Like kind of Mahaprabhu was like churning his heart, right? And so it's actually it's like this ongoing kind of like side story throughout a large portion of Chaitanya Charitamrita, right? Where the king is trying to find ways to meet with Mahaprabhu, and Mahaprabhu is saying no. And then one time he sends his son instead of him, but then what's very beautiful is he knows the real way to Mahaprabhu's heart is through his devotees. And so he finds every opportunity to serve the devotees of Mahaprabhu, providing them housing, and he lets Ramananda Rai get off with an early retirement plan, big pension, so he can stay with Mahaprabhu, and so many things, So this is going on for quite some time. And then the climax of this is actually during the Rath Yatra festival. And he's always like consulting with the devotees, how can I get the mercy of the Lord? And then finally they come up with this plan that one afternoon when Mahaprabhu was taking rest, because he's been dancing and singing so much, and he takes rest in these... is it the Jagannath Vallabha Gardens? Is that what they're called?
Total Gopinath, is it?
No.
No, not that one.
No, I think they're called the Jagannath Vallabha Gardens. Some beautiful gardens. You can still visit them today. It's nearby Narendra Sarovar, a lake, this beautiful lake. So they come up with this kind of like, undercover plan, where it's a bit of a conspiracy. That's what I want to say. It's a bit of a conspiracy. And so they tell the king, Prataparudra, okay, so Mahaprabhu is going to go and take rest in these gardens, and you have to go there while he's asleep, and go wearing ordinary clothes, don't wear your royal clothes, and you go and massage him, massage his feet. And while you're massaging him, chant these verses from Srimad Bhagavatam, from our scripture. So they make this whole setup for him, and he goes there. And of course, Mahaprabhu is so pleased. And they've told him which verses to chant as well, which they know will please Mahaprabhu, right? And so Mahaprabhu is like, half awake, half asleep, and then hearing this Vaishnava chanting these verses and massaging his feet. And naturally his heart is completely moved, right? And he's so ecstatic hearing those verses. And in particular, there's that one, Tava Katamritam Tap, you know that verse, yeah? Tapta Jivanam. You say, you remember?
No, well, I'll try. Tava Katamritam Tapta Jivanam Kaviviritam Sa
Kalma
Sapam Shravana Mandala Srimad Atatam Bhuvi
Grinanti Borida Janaha. Yeah, it's a very beautiful verse. It's spoken by the gopis, by the cowherd maidens of Vrindavan, and they're describing the power of hearing about talks of Krishna. And they say this Harikatha, these divine talks about Krishna, they're like this divine nectar that can soothe all the troubles of this world, can soothe the hearts of all troubled souls in this world. And then it's saying, one who can distribute this nectar, they're the real philanthropists of this world. They're the most generous people of this world. And so King Prataparudra, he's chanting this, and Mahaprabhu is particularly ecstatic hearing that verse. And then he gets up and he's embracing the king, like, whoever can deliver such nectar, they're so dear to me. And Mahaprabhu, he also starts repeating. He's so ecstatic, and he starts repeating some lines of that verse and embracing the king. And so that's also a very sweet moment, kind of in the middle of the whole Rath Yatra taking place. It finally, it's been going on for years, the king, and it's been so dramatic. At one point, the king, he starts saying, oh, I'm just going to abandon my kingdom. I'm just going to go live in the street like a bum. And, I'm just going to become a yogi and live in a cave. Like, if Mahaprabhu won't meet with me, what's the use of living my life? So there have been like so many dramatic moments and twists and turns in his endeavor to try to convince Mahaprabhu to meet with him. And then finally, at this moment, that opportunity comes. So that's very, very sweet moment there. Yeah, and there's another, we could maybe, what time is it now? Let's see, 1:23, yeah. Yeah, there's also, going again to some higher topics, but, there's like a part of this whole Rath Yatra mood is also connected with this very special meeting that took place, right, between Radha and Krishna. Because as we mentioned earlier, Krishna apparently abandoned the residence of Vrindavan and he, left for duties with his royal family. But then there was one meeting that took place, right, at the place of Kurukshetra. And because there was an eclipse, and the Vedic tradition is that when there's an eclipse, then it's considered kind of disastrous, actually. And so traditionally people will go to some holy place, especially some sacred body of water, right? And they'll chant the names of God and seek protection like that. And so there's some tradition like that. And so there was this eclipse approaching. And so people from all over India were gathering at this one place. And so at that time there was this special meeting that took place between Radha and Krishna. But we hear that actually at that time, instead of feeling some relief to their separation, the residents of Vrindavan, they felt the separation increased even more because this was a different Krishna, right? This isn't the simple, village youth, playful village youth that they knew from their early days. But this is like this great personality who's surrounded by, so many great queens, and there's royal entourage, soldiers, elephants, trumpets, and so on, right? And so there's actually this. It's actually more like their pain increases, right? And so there's also some reference to this meeting. In these descriptions in Chaitanya Charitamrita when the Rath Yatra is taking place, and so that's also part of the sweetness of Rath Yatra too, because they're bringing him back, like, let's go, come with us, come with us, forget your royal position, come stay with us in sweet Vrindavan. Right, so there's also this there's a very special joy in that, right? And then we can also mention it was that day of Rath Yatra that Srila Sridhar Maharaj chose to begin this mission, 1942. 1942 Rath Yatra day, he officially hoisted the flag, marking the inauguration of this mission, right? So it's like a day of beginning something, you could say. What better day? What better day? It's a very, for us in our lives, we're perplexed by so many things in our lives in this world. We're not really feeling the significance of this, but for the enlightened souls, this is everything. Right, and there's one statement of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur I think of sometimes where he says that, and I think Devashish Prabhu published it in Service Life. He says the whole purpose of our lives is to give relief to the residents of Vrindavan who are suffering in separation from Krishna. Krishna left Vrindavan, and they're feeling the pain of that. They feel they can't go on. And so the whole purpose of our life is to try to console them and serve them, relieve them in some way. Right? And we hear that Bhakti Vinod Thakur made that statement, right? That I want to spend my last days in Kurukshetra. Right? Because that separation has reached its zenith point in Kurukshetra. And so he has that, like, because service is valuable according to necessity. Right?
Did he spend his last days?
He didn't, but he expressed that aspiration. He expressed that aspiration. What did you?
When Chudashuddha Maharaj, when did he pass away?
No, but you know that Thakur, where did he spend his last days?
It was actually in Puri.
Oh.
I believe, in Jagannath Puri. I'm not sure, maybe between Navadvip and Puri. But I think the very final days may have been Puri. I have to check. So yeah, so it's very significant, right, that Srila Sridhar Maharaj chose that day to begin the mission. And tomorrow is also another very special day. Tomorrow is the beginning of Chaturmasya, this 4-month observance, Vedic tradition, and also Sanatana Goswami. Sanatana Goswami is one of our great gurus and saints. His disappearance day is day of departure from this world. And also Guru Purnima, it's a day when traditionally we give special honor to our gurus. That's also tomorrow. And in our temple in India, Navadvip, they traditionally would have this, because there's so many special days in this coming month. Krishna's birthday is in this month, right? Janmashtami, Radharani's appearance day, Radhashtami, and so many others. Rupa Goswami's day, many days. Baladev's appearance day. And so in our temple, this was kind of marked as a very special month of observance. They called it the month of Hadismadan, the month of remembering Krishna, remembering the Lord. And so that was begun from tomorrow. So, yeah, many, many special days in that period, this coming period. Okay, well, maybe we'll stop there. Any last comments or anything from anyone? Jai Shri Bhakti Sundar Govinda Dev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai Shri Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar Dev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai Shri Shri Gauranga Sundar Ji Ki Jai. Do we have a pujari or?
Jai Shri Yukta Vishakadeva Ki Jai.
Maybe, do we have time for Hari Harai?
Yes, of course.
Or is it? Are they ready for Arti right now?
It's fine.
No, we can go straight into Arti if they're there. Okay, yeah. Then let's start.
Shall I bring Tulsi then?
Yes.
Oh yeah, right. You're growing them hair up.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah,
You're really growing them hair up.
Good, thanks. How are you? Yeah.
Yasomati Nandana Prajovarona Kara Yasomati Nandana Prajovarona Kara Yasomati Nandana Prajovarona Kara Yasomati Keep
Sundara ki Maria Mariana Bogaro ki Jai Chaitanya Saraswati Sarabinda ki Jai Vishnu Pan Paramanta Parisa Sarvara Tata Bhakti Nirmala Chare Maharaj ki Jai Vishnu Pan Paramanta Parisa Sarvara Tata Srimati Lavakti Sundar Gunda Maharaj ki Jai Vishnu Pan Paramanta Parisa Sarvara Tata Srimati Lavakti Sundar Goswami Maharaj ki Jai Kalila Pravisam Vishnu Pan Paramanta Parisa Sarvara Tata Srimati Lavakti Sundar ki Jai Kalila Pravisam Vishnu Pan Sundar Maharaj ki Jai Kalila Pravisam Vishnu Pan Satyananda Vasinata Kurti Jai Kalila Pravisam Vishnu Pan Jagannath Maharaj ki Upanava Guru Bhagavad ki Sarasita Hariyasa Kurti Jai Rupa Sanatavata Raghunath Jiva Gopala Vata Raghunath Goswami Prabhu ki Prachar Siman Mahaprabhu ki Sarupta Maharananda Vaya ki Jai Sri Paramevam Vishnu Pan Srila Sri Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj Prabhu ki Jai Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Haraswati Gaura Savila ki Gopi Govardhan Se Makunda Varakunda Kalagi Jamuna ki Jai Srimati Gangamaji ki Jai Srimati Tulasi Maharani ki Jai Sri Govinda Kunda ki Jai Sri Ragna Vagi ki Sri Vraja Mandala ki Jai Sri Purusham ki Chavandam ki Valera Subhadra Jagannath ki Jai Bhakta Vinasi Nakshayatini Singhayava ki Jai Bhakta Pravalati Kadar Maharaj ki Jai Namaste Chaitanya Charitamrita ki Navavuti Chaitanya Saraswati ki Jai Navavuti Chaitanya Saraswati ki Kaija Vajnava Vrinda ki Jai Samavita Vajnava Mandala ki Jai Bhaktaratara ki Jai Sri Harinam Sankirtan ki Jai Gopri Malandi
Do you know who made the garland? You made it. Wow. Thank you. Is that from the garden, the flowers?
Yeah, we have such a beautiful flowers there.
You have enough to make this, but not only on Saturday, right? You make it so often.
No, we have enough for every day almost. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Now.
Again in the summertime.
Beginning of the summer it was opulent and now again, but in between we didn't have so much, it's true. We didn't do this every day.
Exactly, yeah. I remember in Green Street we used to have to make the stalks longer because we didn't have enough flowers.
Right.
So are you staying here? Are you both staying here? Or
No.
Mahesh is
Just
staying
her,
here?
yeah.